What's going on, you guys? Simchol Fitness here. We're going to go ahead and talk about the West Bank of Israel. That's right. We're going to go there. You know, if there's one, you can talk about blacks, you can talk about Asians, Jews, Hispanics. It don't matter what you talk about. But if you talk about Israel, oh man, you're in trouble with the Illuminati. No question about it. They will smite you with your stand. But don't worry. We're good because we're in a safe space. Because it happens to be, I'm an Orthodox Jew. Can you imagine that? I even got the yarmulke. I even brought my yarmulke for this video. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to talk about Israel as it pertains to the Arabs there. Because you got the Arabs, right? They say that Israel belongs to them. And then you got the Jews, right? See, here's the Arabs, here's the Jews, right? Hey, man, why'd you go ahead and choose the chewed up cracker to be the Arabs? I don't know, man. It's just, they're both chewed up. See, come at me, bro, right? You got the Muslim Arabs and you got the Jews, and the Arab be like, yo, this is my land. And the Jews like, the Jews be like, man, this is my land. And they'd be like, right? So now we got a problem, right? Now, basically the 6-Day War comes along. Now, if you're looking for a history lesson, this is not going to be, you're not going to find it on this channel. Just look it up. Israel's government says, hey, you Muslim Arab yuppies can go ahead. That's your part. This is our part. You guys get the West Bank. We get the rest of Israel, right? And some Israelis weren't happy with it. Some other people weren't happy with it. Some people were happy with it. It's called a two-state solution, right? You get your part of Israel. I get my part of Israel, and we're all good, right? But here's the part where I disagree, right? Here's my opinion, which happens to be the opinion that happens to be the truth. The bottom line is two things. Number one is Israel does belong to the Jews because everybody knows about it. Because before the Arabs came along, before they ever even came along, God said that this land belongs to the Hebrews, the Jews, the Israelis, right? He already said that, right? So it doesn't belong to the Arabs. It doesn't belong to the Muslims. It belongs to the Jews. The Jews are supposed to have and inherit the land of Israel, whether you like it or whether you don't. But you got to keep your word, whether you inherited, whether you didn't inherit. Kind of like if I inherited my father's house, right? And then I go over to some Muslim and I say, hey, man, you could go ahead, you can have my house. Then guess what? It's a problem if on the Saturday evening or Sunday evening, I go ahead with all my boys and we party there Saturday night like it's no tomorrow. And I'm like, hey, it's my dad's house. Yeah, but you just gave it to me. See, there's a problem there. There's an inherent problem there. And that's what I see going on. Israeli government says to the Muslims, they say, no, you guys can go ahead and have this house. And then they go ahead and they start settlements in the West Bank. See, that's where you got the issue. That's where you got the big issue. But you see, the problem is if they had just cracked open the Bible in the first place, they would have gone ahead and seen that Israel clearly belongs to the Jews. And they would have said, no, hell no, no way. You cannot have any bit of land over here. You can't settle over here. If you want to become an Israeli citizen, maybe that's one thing. We could talk about it. But this is all of our land. You can't have any bit of it. In fact, the Jordan, parts of Lebanon, all of it, it all belongs to the Jews. But Jews don't have that kind of backbone, I guess. They don't have that kind of nerve. But hey, you know what? It belongs to us. It's all ours. But once you go ahead and you put it out there, you say, hey, it doesn't belong to you. You got to keep true to your word, because otherwise, you know what you are? You're a liar. And that's what the Israeli government sometimes does. It lies. If I'm being unpolitically correct, not politically correct. And that's the bottom line. That is the truth and nothing but the truth. That's the bottom line. So what do we do now? Here we got a situation in which, yes, we inherited, but like I said in my aforementioned example, we had given over our father's house, right? We have given it over. Well, if I had given somebody my father's house, it only makes sense that I got to pay for it to get it back, right? If I went ahead, I gave some Muslim my father's house, which I rightfully inherited, it would only make sense that I then have to pay the cost to give it back to them. So the solution for the West Bank problem is the Israeli government has to step up and has to give those Muslims that are living there money to relocate. They need to pay them off. Whatever it is, that's what they gotta pay. They gotta say, hey, listen, Mr. Muslims, you need to go ahead. You need to let us move in here. You need to give us a way of going ahead and paying off this debt. Because right now, this land rightfully belongs to you because you went ahead and we gave it to you. So now you have to name your price. We're going to buy it off you. And that's how it should be. The Muslims go ahead, they look at all the Jews, and they rightfully say, hey, look at all those Jews. They got the state of Israel, and look where it is now. You got gay pride parades in the center of Israel. You got all kinds of homosexuality. You got people not dressing in a modest way, right? You got people fornicating. You got all kinds of nonsense, right? All kinds of satanic and unbiblical practices, right? Stuff that the Arab and Muslim community says we would never do that, and they're 100% right. You see, so you can't blame necessarily the Arab or the Muslims for going ahead and feeling the way they feel. They say, look at them Jews, they're going ahead, they're defiling the land with all their actions, and yet we're the ones who shouldn't have the right for the land. Yeah, look what happens when they have the land. LGBT, gay pride parades, trampling right through the streets of Jerusalem, right through Tel Aviv, defiling the streets, defiling the neighborhoods, defiling the Holy Land. Yeah, who could blame them for feeling the way they do? So that's what's up. And who could blame them? So what you need to do, what all the Jews need to do, is they need to start practicing what they're preaching. They need to, yes, they're the children of God, but they need to start acting like the children of God. And maybe then, right, the Arab Muslims will see that these guys are the children of God, and then they'll give us a price with which they want to sell us the rights to the West Bank. And maybe then we'll be eligible to receive the blessing of our neighbors. You see how that works? But of course, we're not taking a look at the Bible. We don't see the Bible. Nobody looks at the Bible, right? Nobody's observing the Sabbath in Israel. You got men and women both fighting in the army, right? That's against a lot of rules in Judaism, right? Just about a whole bunch of them, right? You got all kinds of people in the military not even believing in God. And then Israel wonders why it has all the problems it does and why the people, the nations of the world judge Israel for what it does. How about this? Well, how about they all crack open a Bible, and then maybe then people will understand, oh, that is God's children, and they are acting the way they're supposed to be acting. That's all about I have to say on the matter. This video got real serious. Don't forget to subscribe on my video. Don't forget to send this video to the Illuminati. Peace.